Okej, då är vi tillbaka på Cabletronics öppna hus. Vi har gått in till T1s lilla rum. Där vi sitter med Jon som är vår representant hos T1. Jag kommer gå över till engelska nu så får vi prata med honom. Hi Jon.
Hi, how you doing?
Can you introduce yourself to start and so be easy?
Hi there, I'm John Hubry from TV1, and I'm here with Cabletronics to talk a little bit about our products, the Courier Master and range of video wall processors, but also to introduce our new facility, which is our remote live demo facility, where we have the ability to invite customers in. And instead of just talking to them and showing them slides or presentations about our products, we can actually give a live demonstration of an actual product. So as you can see on my computer screen here, just very, very small, this is actually a link that is going direct into our R&D facility in Maidenhead in the UK. So this is a little camera which is pointing at a video wall, a 3x2 video wall back in Maidenhead. And this is happening live, so we are able to actually show the product live instead of just showing you some spec sheets. I can also show the actual software, and this is the choreographer software which controls that video wall, so you can actually get a feeling of what we are doing and how it works.
So you and I can together do a Teams conference with some of your customers. If you have question about a project where you don't know if T1 units are right, we can do some testing and some demo, and you get more clear. So talk to me about that.
Absolutely, it is to give you much more feedback about what the system is. The actual, I can actually go into the actual physical unit by the software, and through the Teams you will get a full screen of this. You will see exactly what we're doing. So if I look at the actual unit, I can show the actual configuration of the actual unit itself. So I can show how it actually looks. So this gives you an idea of the back of the unit. He says, there we go. So you can see there that it shows the layout of the cards. So the input and output cards that are connected up to this unit shows you all of the output cards, all of the different types of input cards. And then if I click on the actual slot status in the settings menu here, it actually shows us all of these inputs, and it shows the resolutions that are coming in that we've detected, the different types of sources we're using, whether it's HDMI, whether it's our media player card, whether it's 3G SDI, HD base T, all of those different types. And again, we can see, if I scroll down, we see all the outputs that are connected. And here we can see that we're connected up to 6 screens, and those were the screens that we showed in the video. So if I very quickly just go back to the camera, you'll be able to see back to the actual demo here, and just make that a little bit smaller. So this is running live as we're actually talking, and I can trigger a preset from, say, the dashboard. Just make this smaller so we can see both side by side as well.
Okay, make it smaller, take it up there.
I can do that. If I just go from here, just no, that's all right. If I just close that down, and then we go to there. See my lovely family in the background. So there we can see here we've got the camera live. So all of these little tabs on the software here in the dashboard are presets that we've saved to the unit. So you can see if I click on one of these tabs, you'll see the actual preset happens in the background on the screen. And this is actually happening, as I mentioned, live in the office. So if there's anybody in our office who's walking by now, they're seeing all of these things happen completely remotely, and they'll be able to tell that somebody's actually operating the system. But it also, if there is requirements that you wanted to do, you wanted to talk about how we would do something, how we would create the video wall, how we move the windows around, I can go into the actual editor of the software itself, which is here, and we can actually see those different windows and the different screens that we've got. So if I just position this a little bit more centrally, you can see that we've got the video wall screens in the background. This large image was that large image over the backdrop, so I can see if I can move that off. And then these are each of the individual screens, so I can double click on the screen, so I get the properties of all of those screens. So we can see here that it's a 1080p screen, We can see the size, the position of it, but you can also see that these are the sources. Each window contains a source, and we could switch sources within that window, or we can actually add extra windows over the top of this. We can drag these on, we can resize them very simply just by dragging and dropping. We can rotate them through 360 degrees, and we can see that how we can actually build all of this video wall up from the actual software here, and how simple and easy it is to do, and then show it live as well. I can show you all of they're called assets within the actual the choreographer software, and the assets are our displays or our sources. So the displays, obviously you can see that the cards that we've got connected have only got a couple left because we've got 6 screens and we had 3 cards in there. But if I add that, you can see that it will bring it onto my canvas, and there's that screen brought. Oh, that's the actual background. If I grab the right one, that one. So
always the hard thing when it comes up.
yeah, and you can see that there's the size of it. I can adjust the size and position by drag and drop, or I can resize the image. Resize the actual window. The actual monitor this is. The sources are where the monitors come in, the displays and the windows come in, and you can see again listed down here are all the sources that we have connected. So I could bring in a bright sign player, for example. There we go. Just bring that in as a window. There we are, it's that one. I can position that over that window there, and that would then be going out live. There's nothing actually connected to that actual source though, so unfortunately we can't see anything on that one, but this shows you how I could actually build this video wall really simply and easily. And again, I can just simply delete these. If I go into the windows here, so I can delete that window, or I can go onto the, there we go, see that it brings up properties, and then again I can find out which one it is. It's from this menu down here. Very simply delete windows as well. But once you've got your layout set up how you want them on here and how you've built your video wall, we can save each of these as presets. And here you can see this is my preset tab again, and there those appear. I'll remove the assets to make it a bit bigger, and you can see this unit's got those 4 presets saved, but I can very easily just add new presets to this. So once I'm happy with the layout, I can add a preset, I can call it a name, and then I could add that preset to the list as well. You can see that I've now added another preset to this list, which I can then trigger simply by pressing any of these buttons, or indeed in the dashboard. You can see we've got that additional preset added there as well. But all of these presets, all of the controls can be used by any third-party controller. It doesn't have to be the choreographer software.
Should we just talk a little bit about reality around it? Because what do we use it for? We have some examples. I know we have some places where you use it. I know the older model. This is the CoreMaster 2 that works with 4K, but I know the older CoreMaster is mounted down in Brussels, and a lot of
the applications for the CoreMaster range are vast. There is no specific vertical that this is dedicated for. It really is extremely flexible. And can lend itself to a range of different installation types. This, for example, is like a TV studio, and all we have got here is the backdrop. So we've got multiple screens that have been rotated, so they're in portrait mode, and put round the studio backdrop to create that live background.
And you also made the space, so the space is like real space.
Absolutely, you can adjust for the bezels between the actual monitors as well. These are other examples where we've seen things used. Sports books in America, so casinos, where you've got a lot of images to be shown on a large screen at the same time, whether it's showing sports events, as you can see there, or it's advertising, or waymarkings that you can have around a building. All can be controlled by one unit, which has got a really low latency within it, which is really important in things like sports books, where betting and casinos are important. Control rooms is becoming more and more of a market that we're finding that the CoreMaster 2 is lending itself, because we can get lots of those windows in, lots of high resolution windows, multiple 4K sources displayed on things like LED walls. And with the development of LED walls and the pixel pitch coming smaller and smaller, we can get a much higher resolution, so it matches itself to the 4K world, and we can put multiple
and
of those
still
high
low latency. That's not more than maximum 2 frames. I think we always said.
Absolutely, maximum 2 frames through the system. Obviously, if there are other things that you can actually layer into that, but if through the TV1 system, it is a maximum of 2 frames, so it is a very, very low latency unit as well. you can see here it's a great example for a corporate office where you've got so many different regions that can be powered by one unit. You wouldn't necessarily have to have a processor for your reception area, and then a processor for your boardroom, and then another processor for a meeting breakout room. You can have multiple areas within the software called canvases, and each of these canvases can be completely independently controlled and can have different sources or the same source repeated. It depends how you want to actually build it, but it is an extremely functional unit. As we saw, broadcast areas, museums and retail, again LED walls, but we've also done a lot with projector blending. So multiple projectors blended together, multiple sources across a wide range of projectors.
And the Core Master does that itself. You tell it it's a projector, and then it does the edge blend afterwards.
You tell the unit, you tell the actual Choreo Master whether you're working with monitors or projectors, and then you can switch on the edge blending, and it works extremely well with projectors that have blending or don't. You can use either. It doesn't have to be a projector that can do edge blending. It can just be a standard projector, and you put them on, and the Choreo Master can do the blending of those two areas together, or three areas, depending on how you layer up your projectors. So yes, and it's one of those areas that projection edge blending has been something that we kind of thought was going to be phased out with monitors and LED becoming much more prevalent, but being able to blend together has really brought back the ability and the functionality of projectors. Alongside putting multiple windows across that, it really makes the most of a large space to actually project on. So rental and staging, esports, all of these different areas are areas that the Choreo Master has been used. And some of the examples here, one of the most interesting ones is the one that's the nearest to you there, Matt, which is the scatter wall at the top left. So you can see that not only is it using monitors, it's using monitors in different rotations, so portrait, landscape, but also physical size as well.
It's very easy to do that. I've done it myself a couple of times, and it's very easy to make something very beautiful of a heap of monitors.
The other thing that is interesting is we were talking about the LED side of it, and again you can see the bottom down there, that those are five LED strips, so long strips. So the content has been specifically designed, but we can actually work with the specific pixel pitch of those actual screens to make that content fit perfectly across the array of LED panels that are put there in a really creative way. It's not just has to be they don't have to be fixed 16 by 9 or 4 by 3 or in specific orders. We can actually work with really creative designers to make a really interesting, eye-catching display area. So yeah, and like I said, these are just more education, corporates, they're all kinds of different areas. It's just simple boardrooms.
There's some physical places too. That's what I talk about. That's something we usually don't talk so much about, but realize that European Commission's most of the rooms down there is run by a Choreo Master.
There's Choreo Masters, Choreo Matrix. They use a large range, and it is because of that flexibility of inputs and outputs, the ability to combine legacy analog inputs with digital, the low latency, but also security. There is we have encrypted communication between the Choreo Master and whatever environment we're working in, so it is a highly secure way of working as well. So yes, there's a lot of applications.
I didn't realize that they actually did it in the United Nations too.
Yeah.
The main board.
Yeah.
I saw that. That was the first time when they got it out. And that's like impressive that you have that too.
Yeah. So yes, it's there are, as you can see, just as I'm flicking through here, that there are a range of control rooms, command centres, exhibitions, museums.
That one is cool, I think.
Yeah, that one's actually is a really interesting one, because that is actually projected from the ceiling, and the projectors. So all this whole area is blended together, and it's a mix of horizontal, vertical blending.
And there's also small buildings.
Yeah.
Like a model of small
buildings.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a really cool project.
Yeah, and then when you walk up to the iPads, it's interactive for the visitors. So they come up and they'll press a borough, for example, or a postcode, and the lights will change, and it will show up a certain area, or it'll show the canals or things like that through. Oh, sorry, not canals. It'll show the river through the city, or waterways and things like that. So it's a very interactive map, which has been very cleverly designed. So yeah. And like I say, museums, retail spaces, lots of different things, lots of different
I know
areas.
one in Stockholm.
Yes, there is. Just that very similar to that one.
Very similar to that one in the lingerie store down there.
That is correct.
Maybe should say the name.
But yes, so yeah, it is a very flexible, very functional, very easy to use piece of equipment. I think it's one of the things that people really do worry about when they're actually looking to use the Choreo Master is that, is it going to be a difficult piece of software to learn? And it isn't. It's very, very simple. And what it actually also comes with is a offline version. And the offline version means that you can actually just go in and you can play with it, you can download it free and actually try things out. And once you've actually done that, once you've actually had it go, it is actually incredibly simple to actually use. There's an API that is available, so you can build your own control systems and you can control everything through the API. The API is open, it's again free to download. So yeah, it's incredibly easy, and we'd be more than happy to demonstrate it, have you guys come along, join a remote session and have a play.
I have some physical things I can show you on the smaller Choreo Master if you want to try out, and even lend you one, but most of it we can do this way, and we can go forward with the newest technology, the Choreo Master 2. And the difference is it can do very much more in 4K.
Yeah, it is all designed around the 4K environment, so it really was produced and built because the Choreo Master can do 4K, but it was designed before 4K became really, really relevant. And the Choreo Master 2 can do multiple windows, 128 windows. It can do something like 30 4K 60 444 windows. It's it's a very powerful unit and designed for the 4K environment. It's also 8K ready, so if you've got 8K stills, 8K compliant, so that when 8K comes along it will be ready to handle those kind of resolutions as well.
So you're welcome to come with questions about this. I understand that this is not like a live unit you put up on out. There's an installation unit mostly, and it's part of a project, maybe a bigger project where you need other stuff in. I can help you with that too. So I mean, we know what's worked with it very nicely. Most things work perfectly with Choreo Master.
Yeah,
it's not a big problem, and most control system works perfectly.
Yeah,
we have ready plugs for Crestion and AMX that do the presets. Then if you have to do more complicated programming that some of my customers have done, you can actually move the separate windows live with small commandos, so we can do very much.
Neats have also come on board, that's the latest one, as in they've already got that plugin built, so they can connect up to the Choreo Master range. Nice. You control it from Neats as well. So
a lot of people use the small Neats panels.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we're gonna end there for now.
Cool.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.